Did you see what's going on? I mean, obviously, you've seen what's going on in California. But the governor gave this creepy fucking speech where he was talking about speculators coming in and talking about what to do with the land of all these homes that have been burnt down while it's still only 6% contained. And he did this little dance like, I've been talking with these, you know, with the governor of Hawaii about what to do. We got some ideas. A speculator, we're gonna have some meetings. Like, he's
really?
This. Oh.
California Governor Gavin Newsom is now calling his city's homeless encampments unacceptable, which is odd since he's the guy who, you know, made them acceptable, turning sidewalks into red carpet events for drug addicts, thieves, and unemployed CNN anchors. On Monday, he urged cities to ban the camps from sidewalks, parks, and other public areas. So after years of denying the problem, he's now pretending to fix it, which is like putting on a condom as you're leaving a whorehouse. Who hasn't?
It started with a cocky smirk and ended in total absolute destruction. Somewhere in the middle of all that chaos, Gavin Newsom couldn't even figure out which camera to look into while he was falling apart. And trust me, everybody saw it. Joe Rogan came in like a wrecking ball, throwing hard facts like they were steel weights crashing through a wall. Then Greg Gutfeld stepped right in behind him, firing off punchlines sharper than California's outrageous tax hikes. What happened next wasn't just a simple takedown, it was a slow motion explosion that wiped everything off the map. Completely and utterly. Not even Newsom's rock-solid, cement-thick hair gel could hold up against that kind of blast. Grab your popcorn, because this wasn't just some clash between two sides. This was a full-on, on-air meltdown, and impossible to look away from.
Nobody wants President Newsom either. Nobody believes in that guy. That guy's a fucking con man. Everything he did in California, from trying to mandate vaccines for kids to being caught public without a mask and lying about the fact that he was outdoors.
Yeah.
Nobody believes in that guy. He's just a politician. Just a stone-cold, narrative-driven politician. Nobody thinks he's a real human. Whether you like Trump or not, whether you think he's corrupt or not, that's a human being. You know what that guy is. Same thing with RFK Jr. Whether you believe that he's correct about vaccines or whether you believe his policies would be effective, and you know that's a human being. With Newsom, you've got like this construct, this cardboard cutout of a person. I don't think people want that, but they might want it more than they want President Trump.
Cut to Gavin Newsom, and the camera zooms in like his hairline is about to sit down and negotiate peace with a bottle of luxury conditioner. There he is, locked behind the podium, glowing with that signature confidence of a man who genuinely believes the entire earth rotates just to hear him speak. He looks untouchable. He looks prepared. He looks like he has absolutely no idea what's coming, and then, bam, the voiceover crashes down like thunder wrapped in pure dripping sarcasm, because the moment Rogan and Gutfeld locked their sights on California's very own Sparkle Prince, it stopped being anything close to a discussion. It transformed into a full-blown televised demolition derby, fought in $1,000 suits. This was not a debate. This was a polished, perfectly aimed wrecking ball smashing straight through Newsom's glossy, carefully constructed political mask, and it shattered on contact.
But
Kennedy, I think the answer is yes, 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 yes.
Was it because of Israel? Yes. Interest rates? Yes. Too woke? Yes. It's like every bad policy that trickled up to the White House during the Biden administration started in California. That state is responsible for the worst politicians in modern history. And he is at the top of the list, and there are some ignoramuses on that list.
This man struts into every single room like it's a runway show called Big Government. The fashion line. He has completely mastered what you could call the politician's holy trinity. That toothpaste commercial smile, those carefully rehearsed TED Talk phrases, and a leadership style that freezes up faster than a buffering video. Gavin Newsom is the golden boy of progressive politics, dripping with charm, tossing out climate slogans left and right, and probably carrying a wallet stitched together from recycled participation trophies. But peel back that shiny, polished surface, and what's actually underneath? Nothing but glitter, ego, and a whole lot more performance than actual progress. The curtain drops and the show is exposed for exactly what it is.
People are Their houses have been burned, all their childhood memorabilia, all the stuff for their kids, the photos, the fucking everything they have is gone. All heirlooms, you know, their mother's wedding ring, that kind of shit. Everything's burnt to the ground. And this guy's like standing in front of all this stuff, and he's got a smile on his face, and he's talking about land use.
The development plans.
Watch this.
And don't even get started on his climate sermons. Gavin has enough eco-promises to fill an entire Whole Foods aisle from top to bottom, yet California's power grid collapses at the very first hint of a breeze. Go electric, they shout from the rooftops, then turn right around and warn everyone not to charge their cars between 4 and 9 p.m. because the sun clocked out early. The audacity is truly breathtaking. Peak irony right here, banning gas stoves while half the state is cooking dinner by flashlight. Nobody planned for that plot twist. This isn't policy. This isn't progress. This is full-blown climate theater. A tragic comedy where everyone is stumbling around in the dark, pretending with a straight face that things are moving in the right direction.
And he's the guy who thinks he's going to run for president when, you know, so much of the state is absolutely unlivable. And so every project that he's championed, he's now trying to demonize conveniently, and people are not that dumb. Like, people have been through it in his state. They are sick of him. They want him to leave. And maybe that's why so many people around him are like, you should totally run for president. So he gets out of the state.
Yes. Move away. Tyrus, did he leave out anything?
He didn't just leave California, he escaped, like a man who spotted a glitch in the Matrix and sprinted straight for the emergency exit. And honestly, who could even blame him when your state starts looking less like a paradise and more like a post-apocalyptic video game? Even a sauna-loving, elk-hunting podcast king has to call it quits. Rogan hit the gas, flew down Interstate 10, and never once looked back. He traded smog-filled skies for wide-open Texas air, and traded scripts for raw, unfiltered freedom, like a UFC champion ditching kale salads for a perfectly cooked steak. And he did not slip away quietly. He brought the loudest mic on the entire planet with him, the Joe Rogan Experience. This isn't just a podcast, it's a full-blown powerhouse with over 100 million listeners and an algorithm that gives CNN actual nightmares. Oh, Rogan's secret weapon. No filters, just fire. And nothing lit that fuse faster than Newsom's lockdown logic. While Gavin was busy sipping fine wine like it was the last night on Earth, Rogan called out that hypocrisy so loudly and so hard that the French Laundry almost shut down from pure embarrassment.
Down in Hawaii, you had some ideas around some land use concerns he has around speculators coming in, buying up properties, and the like. So we're already working with our legal teams to move those things forward, and we'll be presenting those in a matter of days, not just weeks.
With a big smile on his face. Look at the little wiggle he does with his shoulders. Speculator, watch this. Talking to Josh. Look at this. Look at this little wiggle. It's excited about the possibilities of speculators coming in. And he's saying we're move forward. We're going to move forward on that. These people lost their homes. A lot of those people don't even have fire insurance because the fire insurance pulled out of California. I think like 69% of fire insurance pulled out of California because they're like, this is too crazy. Like, you guys aren't doing jack shit to manage this. You're not clearing the brush.
And Rogan didn't come alone. He rolled in with an entire army, doctors, economists, and comedians armed with degrees in pure sarcasm, all united to paint one absolutely jaw-dropping picture. California's rules made less sense than a TikTok finance guru giving stock advice through cartoon filters. Small businesses were completely crushed while mega corporations waltzes straight through the chaos like they personally owned it. Health orders felt like they were written by a magic 8-ball, random, confusing, and perfectly inconvenient every single time. And through all of it, there was Gavin, flashing that blinding white grin, genuinely convinced that a little hair gel could somehow fix broken trust. Then came the great tech exodus, the modern Oregon Trail, but this time, oh, it wasn't wagons. It was Teslas speeding out of state as fast as possible. Rogan didn't just preach about it, he packed up and left, hauling his entire studio straight to Austin, where blackouts weren't part of anyone's daily routine. California had turned completely hostile to innovation and totally allergic to freedom, and Rogan's strongest argument wasn't a chart, a statistic, or a carefully chosen quote. It was his own life. He didn't just talk about leaving, he actually did it, and that said everything.
So, while Californians have lost their homes and they're still suffering from the devastation, what does Gavin Newsom decide to do? Well, now is apparently the perfect time to try and boost his popularity and essentially promote himself. He's launched a podcast. I'll play you the trailer in just a moment, but take notice. Does the trailer that he shared with the world on X, does it even mention the most horrific fire catastrophe that occurred under his leadership, partly as a result of the decisions he was making, like cutting fire prevention? No, this is his chance to talk about his image, insisting that he's no ordinary politician.
He didn't need to yell, didn't need any theatrics at all. He simply grabbed the mic and said what absolutely everyone was already thinking. This isn't working. And just like that, the whole thing cracked wide open. Then Greg Gutfeld burst in like a raccoon on a mission with a PhD in mockery. He doesn't shout. He slices. Every single word lands like a smirk, and every line hits like a jab sharp enough to curdle almond milk. Gutfeld is a 5-star takedown served ice cold. Slick hair, ruthless timing, and precision that genuinely stings. He looked straight at Gavin's perfectly polished, on golden glow and said exactly what millions of people had only dared to whisper. The man looks like a cologne ad, but governs like he's blindfolded in Sim City. Then he pulled back the curtain, and what was hiding behind that Vanity Fair grin was shocking. Tent cities, boarded up shops, and juice bars barely clinging to life. Dystopia with a yoga mat thrown on top, and Gavin still smiling, beaming from ear to ear, like he personally solved homelessness with scented candles and self-help quotes. The disconnect was absolutely staggering.
About anything? I think there's about 100 other reasons too.
Well, it's not his words when he speaks.
Yeah.
You have to watch him closely. And some genius decided not to film him any lower than the shoulder.
Yes, did you? Yes.
So what did he do?
You couldn't see the hands.
No, but he sent Morse code.
Yes.
Go back and watch it. Look at the blinking. Blink, look. Meet me at the house. Like, he's blinking. He's sending. I'm getting there. Hey, just so you know, I'm not wearing pants.
But Gutfeld didn't stop at the shiny surface. He went straight for the jugular. His real target? The media's absolutely ridiculous crush on Gavin Newsom. Legacy outlets treat this man like JFK reincarnated, only with better teeth and a designer tote bag. But behind all that carefully manufactured glow is nothing but pure chaos wrapped in a spray tan. Gutfeld's monologues weren't just funny, they hit like artillery fire. He shredded every single headline praising Gavin's so-called bold leadership, while regular, everyday people were drowning in gas bills, insane rent prices, and full-blown grocery panic. Families could barely afford milk, yet glossy magazines were gushing breathlessly about his visionary aura. Then came the climate comedy, and Gutfeld unleashed it like a caffeine-fueled truth sniper, blasting straight through buzzwords like carbon equity and solar dreams. It all sounds incredibly noble until someone dares to ask the obvious question. Who is actually paying for all of this? While everyday working people suffered through rolling blackouts, bureaucrats were cruising around in hybrids like they were starring in their own personal sci-fi fantasy. Charging stations, mostly imaginary. Gutfeld didn't just expose it, he ripped it completely apart. This wasn't about saving the planet. This was nothing more than staging an elaborate Instagram photo op, and everyone finally saw it.
When Gavin Newsom talks about California, he's like, I'm very big on California, very bullish on California. Hey, they're all moving. The only reason why they don't move is because it's too difficult to move. It's too expensive to leave versus all the bullshit with all the permits and all that. It's too expensive. Believe that he's correct about vaccines, or whether you believe his policies would be effective. And that's a human being. With Newsom, you got like this construct, this cardboard cutout of a person. I don't think people want that, but they might want it more than they want President Trump.
Then came the knockout blow, Gavin's White House fantasy. Whispers of 2028 are swirling around him like incense at a yoga retreat, but Gutfeld isn't buying a single second of it. He roasted the idea completely. The notion that a man who cannot even manage one state could somehow handle an entire country was too much to stomach. He's running all right, Gutfeld snapped, but it's from accountability, not for president. The jokes practically wrote themselves. Newsom's White House dream? It's like franchising a restaurant that just failed 3 health inspections. The sign looks shiny, but the kitchen is disgusting. The freezers are busted, and the Yelp reviews are flaming disasters. Literally, Gutfeld didn't just joke around, he completely detonated the illusion. Every single punchline came wrapped in truth so brutally sharp that even Gavin's entire PR team couldn't spin their way out of it. And then came the tag team moment absolutely nobody saw coming. Joe Rogan and Greg Gutfeld joined forces like twin wrecking balls, obliterating the carefully constructed myth of Gavin Newsom once and for all. Rogan brought the facts, cold, hard, and undeniable. Gutfeld brought the fire, ruthless, precise, and relentless. And together, they proved beyond any doubt that Newsom's leadership doesn't just miss the mark, it deletes the entire target.
Runs for national office, he acts like a Republican. This is where the left is really pro-trans. Suddenly, they grow balls.
He didn't yell, didn't flail, didn't throw a single fit. Rogan just spoke in that calm, completely unshakable tone that somehow hits harder than any scream ever could. People are leaving, businesses are fleeing, homelessness is exploding. I moved for a reason. That voice landed like a velvet-wrapped sledgehammer, like quiet, heavy, and impossible to ignore. Rogan wasn't even trying to entertain, and that is exactly why it cut so devastatingly deep. Then Gutfeld stormed in same precision, but an entirely different energy. Where Rogan carefully dissected everything with cold logic, Gutfeld roasted it all with pure, unrelenting flair. He read the government's own script back to them like a stand-up comic forced to perform in the world's worst play, every single line dripping with absolute disbelief. Rogan reached the thinkers, the ones who crave receipts, hard proof, and raw, unfiltered reality. Gutfeld grabbed the skeptics, the audience that stopped trusting mainstream news the moment slogans completely replaced common sense. Rogan's fans responded by sharing charts, clips, and cold hard data. Gutfeld's fans simply pointed straight at the flaming chaos unfolding in real time and said exactly what everyone was thinking.
California Governor Gavin Newsom has been facing major calls to resign over his appalling handling of the deadly California wildfires. And just to quickly recap, these were the most destructive wildfires the state has ever seen. More than 16,000 properties were destroyed. The cost of the fires is estimated to be more than $200 billion. And for businesses in LA County, the future is looking grim. It's projected businesses will continue to lose billions of dollars over the next 5 years due to destruction.
But no matter their approach, Rogan with icy surgical precision or Gutfeld with blazing, unrelenting sarcasm, they both struck the exact same brutal truth. Gavin Newsom isn't leading, he's performing. And the reviews, 2 giant thumbs straight down. This isn't just failure. It's failure dipped in glitter and gift wrapped in delusion. He's like a movie trailer promising an absolute masterpiece, but delivering 90 minutes of pure confusion, slow motion speeches, and completely hollow slogans. Rogan and Gutfeld weren't fooled for even a single second. They came charging in from completely opposite ends, but both saw the exact same illusion and tore straight through it like seasoned professionals. Gavin is the walking, talking symbol of all style and absolutely zero substance. Endless speeches, zero results, and a smile that never quite matches the reality on the ground. And when those two finally ripped off his glossy, carefully polished mask, it stopped being mere commentary. It became a full-blown public political intervention. Loud, messy, and impossible to ignore. One came armed with a wrench, the other with a chainsaw, and what they uncovered underneath had people from every single side nodding in wide-eyed, stunned disbelief.
You know, when I went there, I had a great relationship with President Xi. We got along very well. And they treated me better than anybody's ever been treated. And I said, this air is good. Do you know they closed every factory 1 week before I got there from within 200 miles?
That's like what Gavin Newsom did when Xi Jinping came to San Francisco.
He cleaned it up.
He cleaned it up. He got rid of all the homeless people.
Isn't that terrible in a way to think, you know? He cleaned it up and then it became a pigsty.
Well, the dumbest thing is he said when your friends come by, when you have visitors, you clean up your house. Like, how about just keep your fucking house clean?
Can you imagine?
It's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
I keep bringing up Gavin. Well, other than my respect for his work in American Psycho, he's starting to distance himself from his party's worst ideas. Newsom, a guy who hates fossil fuels but could still bring down the price of gas by wringing out his hair, once proclaimed that his state would be a sanctuary to all who seek it.
And suddenly, everything clicked across the entire spectrum. Libertarians, conservatives, burned out millennials, disillusioned hipsters, and even that one barista who swore off politics completely after the last election. All nodding in perfect agreement. Different walks of life, but the exact same reaction. They all realized something huge. Maybe the real disaster was never just the failed leadership. Maybe it was the endless, exhausting theater itself. And just when it couldn't possibly get any wilder, boom! The final montage hit like a full cinematic knockout straight to the jaw. By that point, it wasn't even about who won anymore. It was entirely about what got exposed. Gavin Newsom didn't just take criticism, he got completely decoded, dissected, and laid bare for the entire world to see. The curtain dropped hard, and all that was left standing were filters, flash, and fake solutions. Rogan might just drop a full episode titled California Collapse Volume 2. Gutfeld could spin the whole thing into a viral skit. Gavin's Glamour Tour, Homelessness Edition. The content writes itself. And Gavin said, will he rethink? Will he reflect? Absolutely not. He'll probably post a wind turbine selfie with a caption that reads, "Leading with Vision." Because for him, it has never once been about real change. It has always, only ever been about the performance.